You're live.
I'm live. The name of the show is Hello Central, and it's coming to you from Nome, Alaska, just about a little bit less than 100 miles from the Bering Strait. My audience are the people of the Nome, the 3,600 people of Nome, and a lot of gold miners, and a wonderful native culture that resides here in Nome. We are a gold rush town, but we are also deeply rooted in the Inupiaq culture of Western Alaska. I've lived here for 26 years now, and and what do I do? Well, I have a tour company in the summer, Known Discovery Tours. That's probably the last plug you'll hear. And as well, I provide after-school activities for the kids, primarily at the elementary school. I'm the director of community schools. So I get to do all the fun stuff. I don't give the kids an F or a D or an A. I give them what they want: basketball, youth wrestling, Inupiaq language classes, beading, knitting, acting. Anyway, so the history of this show is a really kind of an interesting one as I look back on it. I came from New York City some 30 some odd years ago and lived in Barrow for 7 years, and then moved to Nome 26 years ago. So I've been around the state in the far, far north for a very long time. It's a fascinating place to live. And each week, as this show, which will eventually go out live in the next couple of weeks, we'll be sending it out, downstreaming it, but it's live for the people of Nome. My primary audience, excuse me, the rest of the United States of America, are the people of Nome. My show goes to GCI Cable, and want to thank them for the ability to do it. Oh, I was talking about the history of the show. Started back in Barrow in about 1984, and it was called Hello Central, and I'll tell you about Hello Central in a minute. But it was a radio show on KBRW, the public radio station up in Barrow, Alaska, part of the Alaska Public Broadcasting. What is that, APN, Alaska Public, whatever it is. It's part of the Alaska system. And then I moved down to Nome in 1988, and soon the show went on the air, closed circuit, up to the account holders in Nome that have GCI accounts, cable accounts, which is, I don't want to say everybody, but probably the majority of those who watch television watch through GCI. Or some now have DirecTV, but most of it's to GCI. And then secondarily onto the world. So the idea has been for a long time, because what is my show? What is Hello Central? I describe it as a magazine show. We live in a small place that gets lots of really very interesting people year round. We're an icebound port, so right now our ocean outside the window here is frozen. But we're going to talk a lot about climate change, because there was open water just a few days ago. And the Times says, who wasn't that Arlo Guthrie? Who was it? Bobby Dylan back in the 60s. Back in the 60s said, in the times they are a-changin'. And boy, isn't that true. Isn't that true? In any case, so I was on the air for, 6 or 7 years. And in addition to interviewing people that come to Nome, and so that a lot of people that don't get out of their houses very much, use Hello Central weekly as a way to learn who's coming, who's in town, who's of input, who's of interest. And we have lots of different topics that we've covered over the years. From foster care, AIDS, alcohol. I'm a recovering alcoholic, sobered up in Nome 21 years ago. Politics. I went off the air for several years because GCI was upgrading. Now we have internet. No, we have internet for a long, long time, but now we have this ultra speed internet. That's fiber optics. That's what it is. Very, very cool. That's allowing what we're doing today to be possible. And Al Burgo, and you'll be hearing more about him over the weeks to come, and his company is a really, really cool dude who's into those things technological, the lighting, and does wonderful dances for the teenagers. He's a great guy. So the show was off the air for several years while GCI upgraded. We then And then I got lazy. I've been doing it for a long time, and I'm no kid. You can tell by looking at me. I'm sitting here looking at a monitor, and I can't believe how old I look. I look like my grandmother. Flo, you'd be so proud of me. Hello, Central. I got as many lines as she does. The kids at school love it. They love my brow. They want to do their laundry on it or something. In any case, that's the name of the show, and the plan is to come to you every Wednesday night at 7:30 here in Nome. And I don't know when that's going to, what that means on going down the line. But I'm so happy to be back on the air, and I want to thank the Nome Chamber of Commerce and Mitch Erickson for prodding me back. We will be talking a lot about Nome and why it's cool to visit Nome and this part of the world. It's another Alaska. It's a whole different Alaska. It's the Alaska of tundra, beautiful mountains, gorgeous views, and a very interesting part. I said at the beginning, we're just a short ways from the Bering Strait. And that is very interesting when you consider climate change and what's happening in the far north. I am fortunate to sit on this board of the State Chamber of Commerce, and I keep reminding Alaska, keep looking north, Alaska. It's been our future. It will be our future. In any case, that's all I've got. I'll look forward to seeing you weekly on Hello Central here, live in Front Street in Nome, Alaska. And you know what they say. There's no place like Nome. Could you die? Hello Central.